What if you sat down right now and asked yourself, what if I could do the holidays exactly as I wanted? What would that look like?
Welcome to How to Quit Your Job, a mom's guide to creating a life and business you love. It's a podcast that helps working moms just like you optimize your time, manage your mind, and start a business that helps you create more freedom, flexibility, and yes, fun. I'm business and mindset coach Jenna Reichel, and I offer practical tips to help you ditch the 9-to-5. I've been exactly where you are, and I know what it takes to make the transition without trading one form of burnout for another. So let's get started.
Hello, mom friends. I'm really excited about this episode because it's not only a topic near and dear to my heart, but it's also the first episode that I'm recording live after birthing another human. So whether I sound like I'm glowing or sleep deprived, I probably sound a little different because frankly, I am different, which is really exciting. And this episode is so timely for so many reasons. You know that feeling when your phone battery hits 1%, that desperate scramble for a charger, knowing you're moments away from completely shutting down? That's exactly how most of us approach the holidays. Running on empty, trying to power through until we absolutely crash. But what I've learned from working with so many ambitious moms is that the secret to actually enjoying the holidays isn't doing more or being more organized. It's about completely rewriting the rules of how we show up for ourselves first. It's easy to want to create the perfect holiday experience, but the truth is our children don't need Pinterest perfect holidays. They need us present and enjoying the season with them. And here's the reality. When mama's running on empty, everyone feels it. But when your tank is full, that energy radiates through the entire family. So by the end of this episode, I want you to feel a new sense of hope as we approach the holidays with practical tools so that this season is energizing, not just depleting. So let's talk about some practical self-care strategies and mindset shifts to get you energized this upcoming festive season. The first is one of my favorites, and you can actually do it right now. It's called permission slips. Yes, it's literally like the ones from school. I love this one, and it was inspired by Brené Brown, who I adore. And I want you to write down or maybe just think about it if you're driving or on the go, which you probably are. Say to yourself, I give myself permission to. You may need to give yourself permission this holiday season to do things differently. And yes, that may mean stepping out of people-pleasing or perfectionism, but it will energize you in the long run. So here are a few examples to get you started. I give myself permission to skip the holiday cards this year. I give myself permission to order pre-made dishes. I give myself permission to say no to any event that doesn't bring me joy. I want you to adopt a hell yes or no mentality, which means you are either a hell yes to do something, and if you're not, you just say no. I give myself permission to let the kids wrap their own gifts. I give myself permission to take time away from work so I have energy for holiday celebrations. Write yourself a permission slip or two right now for the end of the year festivities and trust yourself in those decisions. Which leads me to another practical strategy to take care of yourself this holiday season, redefining non-negotiables and deleting the rest. This is where we get specific about what actually matters. I love sharing this story from my own coach who made a decision years ago that transformed her family's holidays forever. She decided that instead of getting caught up in the traditional gift-giving frenzy and all the festivities, her family would travel somewhere each Christmas. That would be their gift to each other, experiences and memories instead of stuff. And with that, they were essentially opting out of the holiday madness. And it was radical at first, and it still probably is radical to some hearing it, but it eliminated so much holiday stress and created a tradition her family truly loves. So what if you sat down right now and asked yourself, what if I could do the holidays exactly as I wanted? What would that look like? Maybe it's having one meaningful gathering instead of trying to attend every event. Maybe it's choosing quality time over quantity of activities. Maybe it's creating new traditions that blend different cultural celebrations in a way that feels authentic to your family. Or maybe it's simplifying gift giving or focusing on acts of service instead. So I want you to make your list. What are your true non-negotiables? Not what you think they should be, but what truly matters to your family. What are the things you want to keep and what are the things that you want to get rid of? The beauty about these first two strategies is that they force you to be intentional about what you decide to spend energy on. Activities begin to shift from I have to do X to I get to do X because you are deciding that you want to keep it, which is an energizing mind shift all in and of itself. And we haven't even gotten to mindset yet. The third strategy I want to share is tied to what we think of as maybe traditional self-care. And it's all about quick win self-care actions. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking I'm about to suggest meditation and bubble baths, I want to suggest a few new ways to think about self-care. The first is we often think self-care takes too much time, or better yet, we don't have time for it. And the reality is that some of my most effective self-care practices take less than 5 minutes. It's not about duration, it's about intention. So you could spend 5 minutes or less taking 3 deep breaths behind a closed door or doing one song dance party, unless it's Bohemian Rhapsody, because that song is 6 minutes because my son loves it. So we speak in Bohemian Rhapsody time. But you could also walk to the mailbox in silence, right? Or stay in the shower for 5 extra minutes when you would normally be done. All of these can be self-care.
Hey moms, just jumping in real quick. If what I'm sharing resonates with you and you're ready to make real changes in your life, I'd love to support you. Through my one-on-one coaching program, I help moms just like you create the strategy and accountability needed to build a business and life you love. Ready to explore what's possible? The link to apply for a free strategy session is in the show notes. And if you're not quite ready for coaching, please join our free Mom Entrepreneur Circle, a community of moms who get it. All the links are waiting for you in the show notes. Go to jenna.coach/episode number to check it out. Now, let's get back to today's episode.
In last week's episode, I interviewed Crystal Heitzma, and I raved about her daily grounding exercise that she encourages, and it only takes a few minutes. She even shares how to make time for it when you feel like it's impossible. The second thing is we often think that self-care has to be expensive or extravagant, the spa day or the long weekend with our besties. And the reality is that the most powerful forms of self-care are often free. And it's not just that they're free, they are easy to do more often, which has a greater impact. I love the weekend getaways. I love the spa days and massages. So please do those. But that's not the self-care that's going to sustain you. It's the enjoying a morning coffee in complete silence or dedicating 15 minutes to a stretching session before bed. Yes, those things take a little bit more time, but they are still self-care. Or maybe it's going to the grocery store by yourself or having a phone call with a friend. The third thing is, a lot of times we feel like self-care is selfish. And the reality is that self-care is like maintaining your car, okay? If you skip it, and eventually everything will break down. You can't show up for others if you're running on fumes. Everyone benefits from you figuring out what you need more of and less of. And if you're someone who struggles to even think about yourself throughout the day or week, I'm going to link in the show notes a free self-care calendar that I made years ago. And it works whether you're still in corporate or have your own business or are somewhere in between, right? So it's 31 days of self-care and the tasks each day are simple. So you can follow along each day of December and hold yourself accountable to those mini acts of kindness to yourself. Okay. So go to jenna.coach/26 to access that calendar and prepare for an energizing December. Now that we have our practical tools in place, let's talk about the mindset shifts that will help these changes stick. The first is releasing perfectionism. I talk about this all the time because it's so ingrained in so many of us to strive for perfection. The truth is, perfection is stealing your joy. Your kids will not remember how perfectly the table was set or how neatly the presents were wrapped. They remember the feeling, the laughter, the presence. I want you to check yourself when you notice that you're getting overwhelmed or anxious about some task that you have, and ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? What does good enough look like? And what do I need to do less of in order to really enjoy this moment or activity? The second shift is breaking free from people pleasing. Your holiday season is not a democracy. You don't need everyone's vote or approval. Trust me, no is a complete sentence during the holidays. When you decide to drop a tradition or say no to a holiday party, trust yourself and your decision. You're not responsible for other people's feelings, only your own. And doing things that don't give you energy mean that you're managing lots of resentment and frustration. I want you to make 2 lists in your head or write it down. And remember, you can get the full transcript of this episode and all episodes at jenna.coach/26. You can put whichever episode number after the / and get the transcript. And that will allow you to revisit some of these questions and exercises later if you're on the go. But I want you to write down, number 1, things you do during the holidays because you genuinely want to. And number 2, things you do because you think you should or to please others. And when you look at that second list, I want you to think, what if you could decline some of those invitations? What if you could alternate years for family visits? What if you could set boundaries around your time and energy? This is kind of going back to the permission slips and the non-negotiables. They're so important because you can do those things. You can decline invitations. You can alternate years with family. You can set boundaries. And I want you to be intentional about doing it this holiday season as an act of self-care. The other shift is I want you to sit back and really think about what success means for you over the next 2 months and as you move into the next year. I want you to think about and write down what a successful holiday season would actually feel like, and not just what it looks like, but really feels like. So some examples might be feeling rested enough to enjoy the moments, having enough space to create memories, maintaining your peace throughout the busy times, not snapping at your kids, which, definitely check into last week's episode where Crystal gives some great insights about that. The holidays don't have to look like they always have. You can create new traditions that fit your current life, your current season of life. You can blend different cultural celebrations in your own way. You can choose simplicity over extravagance. Okay? And that will make all the difference this holiday season for you to understand that you do have control over what this looks like and feels like, and it can work for you. So let's recap this holiday season blueprint. All right. I want you to write yourself permission slips. Give yourself permission this holiday season to do whatever and not do whatever you want. 2, I want you to define your true non-negotiables, the things you want to keep, and I want you to delete the rest. 3 is choose your quick win self-care actions. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be little wins throughout the day. Number 4, release perfectionism and people pleasing this holiday season. Trust me, it will give you so much energy to no longer try to be perfect or make everybody happy. You are not responsible for other people's feelings, okay? And the 5th is I want you to reset your definition of success and expectations, or at least define it to understand what success feels like to you. And your homework this week is simple. I want you to write a few permission slips for yourself and put them somewhere you'll see daily, right? Start with just 3 and make small steps that lead to bigger changes and more time and energy for you. And in the coming weeks, we'll talk about setting powerful intentions for the new year. But for now, focus on giving yourself the gift of presence over perfection. Remember, you don't have to overhaul everything at once. Start with one permission slip, one boundary, one act of self-care at a time. And I want you to really enjoy everything that this end of year season has to offer. I want you to be able to relax. I want you to be able to laugh. I want you to be able to find joy with the people you love. It's a beautiful time of year, and I want you to take full advantage of it. Until next week, this is your reminder that you deserve to enjoy this season too. I'll see you next week.
Before we wrap up today's session, I want to talk to the mom who's been nodding along, feeling seen and understood. Maybe you've been thinking about leaving corporate and building your own business, but you're not sure where to start, or if it's even possible with everything else on your plate. I'm here to tell you it's possible. I've helped moms go from a vague business idea to replacing their corporate income, and I've supported others in discovering their passion and signing their first client, all while balancing working in corporate and balancing family. My one-on-one coaching program is intimate support and helps you develop the strategy and accountability you need to move your business forward. As a mom myself, I understand the unique challenges we face in prioritizing our own needs. And that's exactly why I specialize in working with moms just like you. If you're ready to explore what's possible, there's a link in the show notes to apply for a free strategy session. This isn't a pushy sales call. It's a genuine conversation to see if we're a good fit for each other. And if you're not quite ready for one-on-one coaching, you can join our free Mom Entrepreneur Circle, a supportive community of other moms who are on this same journey. The link to join is in the show notes as well. Remember, you don't have to figure this out alone. Whether it's through the podcast, our free community, or working together one-on-one, I'm here to help you create a life and business you love. Now go take that next step. Whether it's big or small, just take it. I'll be here next week with more strategies and support to help you along the way. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of How to Quit Your Job,
A mom's guide to creating a life and business you love.
If you want to learn more about how I can help you stop making excuses and start making moves, head on over to www.jenna.coach. I'll see you next week.